Over a decade ago, I started a mentoring program primarily for Black and Latino boys. I realized then, and still believe now, that strengthening how our Black and Latino boys feel about their academic identity and showing the benefit of how being educated relates to their possible future selves are some of the most important needs that all schools have the opportunity to address. The results from my initial mentoring program intervention and subsequent iterations of the mentoring program demonstrate the significant impact of mentoring in achieving positive outcomes for Black and brown male students.
Before the program, I started out with all Fs. All I did was fight and cut class and just get suspended practically. And before the program as well, I got into 4 fights in 1 month. So then afterwards, I joined the program, and I started realizing you have to take life more serious. The program inspired me because I seen how young Black males and old males as well, they made it out and was successful, and also could show that I can be successful as well. In the first 2 market periods, I had straight Fs, but now they Bs and Cs, and the Cs are high Cs.
My grades started off as 3 Ds and 1 C. My grades was low because running the halls, leaving school, going to the bathroom and go. Not smoke, I don't smoke. Program influenced me to change because I was seeing a lot of positive people become successful, and I wanted to be just like them. 3 Bs and 1 A. When I graduated, I wanted to attend West Point College in New York in the Mountains and go to the Marines after my 4 years of college as an officer.
The next 2 charts show data from a neighborhood comprehensive high school in Philadelphia. In this chart, what is important to note is that the 9th grade boys who would enter the Uplift Educate mentoring program had a lower average GPA at the beginning of the 3rd marking period as compared to the entire 9th grade of that school. This indicated that the boys were a more at-risk group due to their extremely low GPAs. The second aspect to note is that by the end of the 3rd marking period, after the boys had entered the mentoring program for 1 marking period, their cumulative GPA average had increased, while the overall 9th grade GPA average was declining. This upward trend among the mentees contrasted with the downward trend of the entire 9th grade was statistically significant, indicating that something was motivating the mentored group of boys to improve their GPAs while the average of the entire 9th grade was declining. In this next chart, what is important to note is that the GPA data for each student in the mentoring program shows a significant contrast between the 2nd and 3rd marking periods. The 2nd marking period was before any of the students were in the mentoring program. It shows that only 3 out of the 11 students had a GPA of 2.0 or higher, with 6 students having a GPA of 1.0 or less. However, during the 3rd marking period, when the students entered the Uplift Educates mentoring program, the results were different. Instead of only 3 students having a 2.0 or higher, 6 out of 11 students achieved a GPA of 2.0 or higher. And before, when 6 students had a GPA of 1.0 or less, after the mentoring program, only 1 student had a GPA of 1.0 or below. And the final, and maybe most significant point to note, is that during the mentoring program, 10 out of 11 of the most at-risk students improved their GPAs at a time when the average GPA of the 9th grade was on a decline. The next chart shows another iteration of the Uplift Educate mentoring program in a citywide admission charter school in Philadelphia. It shows how mentored students scored higher in the academic self-confidence domain after joining the mentoring program. In this chart, what is important to note is that the students who would enter the Uplift Educate mentoring program already had a relatively high view of how they felt about their intelligence. The quantitative analysis shows that the gain in the students' academic self-confidence after joining the mentoring program was statistically significant. So, their already strong beliefs about their academic abilities were strengthened even more after spending a report card period in the mentoring program. And we know that the more students believe in their academic abilities, the more they will persist when the schoolwork becomes rigorous and challenging because they believe they are capable of completing rigorous and complex assignments. It's worth noting that this group of students who already had a relatively high GPA even increased their GPA during the mentoring program. Hi, I'm Dr. Olafemi Fadaibi, the CEO and founder of Uplift Educate.